What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and having finished the studio albums of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, I'm now going to deep dive into their live albums, starting off with their first official one, Chunky. I keep wanting to say chutney, so I keep saying Chunky. Chunky Shrapnel, a phrase from Murder of the Universe. I think it's referring to the vomit that is vomited up. Chunky Shrapnel, maybe. It is a live album, but it is also the soundtrack to the live movie / DVD of the same name. This is from came out in 2020. It was late October. This is all from October 2019. This is on the tour for Infest the Rat's Nest. Musically, I freaking love this album. I love the live performances, love the energy, love the song selection, though it is pretty much, there's a couple early songs. There's an interesting sort of Frankenstein song that sort of is like Frank's Zappa's like Nancy and Mary music type thing. We'll get to that later. But if I have a complaint, it's a minor complaint. A couple things that I generally will sometimes, I think, undermine the success of a live album. A couple things. Not all the tracks are from the same show. I don't think it really hurts in this case. I don't think you really lose the momentum. The performances themselves are so incredible. Though there are some interesting choices. Like the first live song is The River. It is the first actual song we get from the concert. But in real time at the actual show it was from, it was the encore. It was the very, very, very last song of the night. I think it works incredibly well as an opening song. Definitely fits in sort of a jam band niche where you're like, you open up, you come out, you just play something kind of soft and jazzy and breezy, and then you just drop like this 6-minute epic jam. Very jam band. Good. Your street cred is good on the jam band front. So I like the opening track. The closing track, A Brief History of Planet Earth, is material from like 4 different shows, I think. 4 or 5 different shows. A whole bunch of like head-on pill jams with a little bit of Self-Immolate, a little bit of Rattlesnake, and a little bit of Murder of the Universe, just kind of thrown in the mix at various times. But for the most part, it's like 19, maybe 17 minutes of head-on pill jams, including this really incredible flute solo. Really just good stuff throughout the entire thing. But it's a whole bunch of different things kind of just edited together. Haven't seen the video or the DVD or the movie, so I don't know how that plays out. I don't know if they're wearing the same clothes in every show. But it works as a really interesting listen, especially as the last track. It's like 20 minutes long. But my other complaint, other than the fact that they're from different shows, there's another instance where they play Wah Wah pretty much into Road Train. Like it's kind of almost directly into Road Train. And on the show that Wah Wah is from, it went directly into Road Train, but the Road Train that the movie goes directly into in the soundtrack is not the same Road Train. So just little things like that are just kind of weird. But I don't really think it hurts the overall music. But things I'm obsessed with. But anyways, other than that, there are 1, 2, 3 individual tracks and then 2 other instances that are part of other tracks of studio music that in the DVD was used. My understanding is like background music. I think there were like backstage interviews or scenes of them before the show or after the show or stuff like that. And I'm assuming this was the background music. They're all instrumentals. They're like kind of cool, kind of chill. One of them has this almost like drip, drip, drippy quality. One of them has this almost lullaby quality to it. The longest one is like 3:10. One's 2 minutes. The other one's just over 2 minutes. Planet B, which is one of the live songs on here. Like the latter half of Planet B is one of these instrumental sections, though it's baked into Planet B. And then the very beginning of A Brief History of Planet Earth. I think that's a pre-recorded part in the very beginning of that. I don't think it's actually part of the performance, but there appears to be a little bit in front of a brief history. And these instrumental things, it's the opening track, it's the 6th track, it's the 12th track. So they're well spaced out, and they do kind of break up the actual live album into segments. So it doesn't really feel like one continuous show as much as it feels like blocks of just really, really high quality King Gizzard live performances. So what do you get on this? The first block, which goes from the first instrumental through the next instrumental, is 4 songs. Open up with The River, which is fantastic. This was originally the last song of the night. They drop it as the opening on this after the instrumental. Starts off with a little river. We get the river action. We drop into the jam about 2.5 minutes in. Once that jam hits, we're just off. It's Australian krautrock, jazz rock, hypnotic, groove, hippie vibes. Kind of reminds me of the Mothers of Invention's Orange County Lumber Truck, just that sort of relentless, almost motoric type drive in which all kinds of stuff is just going on top of it and over it and through it. Energy is fantastic. Their jam band, Bonafides, fully here. This is a great opening song, even though it's really the last song. But awesome way to open this album. Just fantastic. It appears that we don't get the whole river because around the 8.5 minute mark, about 6 minutes into the jam, it kind of just almost, the jam dies out and you hear like them noodling around for a little while. And then they don't go back and finish the river, but you get all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, the band is starting to sing and the audience is singing wah wah. So it's like wah, 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 wah. And then we get this huge wah wah drop. So we get this awesome wah wah energy. That goes right into Road Train. Road Train sounds like it just hits hard, and it sounds like they're putting on the brakes, and the brakes are just screaming but not working and eventually burn out, and we're just off into like just thrash mania. Absolutely fantastic. Motorhead vibes at times, pure adrenaline, pure exhilaration. Just Road Train is fantastic. And all of this sets up what might be my favorite thing on this is Murder of the Universe. They play the pre-recorded narration from the album, and that is that's played. Nobody's doing it live. And underneath it, they are just playing some of the most musically insane, deep, dark, disturbing psych noise. It sounds like they're literally creating electricity with their instruments, and that electricity is just shooting across the stage, just making psychedelic noise. It is incredible. And the first couple times I listened to it, I thought the narration was a distraction. I was like, oh, couldn't this just been an instrumental jam? But then the more I listened to it, that narration, it's steady robotic tone throughout the whole thing contrasts perfectly. It is one of the greatest things ever. They just absolutely just tear it up. After that, we get another short instrumental piece called Quarantine, which has this very lonely, I'm alone vibe, and there's water dripping in the room type energy. Then we get an interesting combo. We get Planet B, excellent version of that. But at the end of this, there appears to be more pre-recorded stuff. And I don't like the flow of this part of the album. Pre-recorded, an awesome Planet B, more pre-recorded. And then we go into a drum solo from Open Water. We don't get Open Water. We just get the drum solo. So that kind of part, this little middle section, kind of doesn't work for me. But then after that, we have a 3-song run that is fantastic. We get a Venetian 2, pure on thrash attack, full speed, just layers of psych noise. We get a Hell, goes right into Hell, nasty, punky, that kind of just really aggressive thrash energy. This is sort of the musical equivalent of what it would be like to be in the chaos that is Hell. And then after that, we get a little break, like a little, they stop, they talk to the audience, and we get a Let Me Mend the Past off Float On. What is the name of that album? That awesome 4th album they dropped back in the day. Let Me Mend the Past. Absolutely amazing. Just, it works so well. It's almost like a lounge break. It's like a palate cleanser, but it's a really good song. The performance is fun. You can tell them they're having a good time. Excellent choice there. After that, we get another instrumental brief, Anamnesis, Anamnesis, anamnesis. Kind of like a lullaby feel. And then we get a 3-song run, just as it appears on the album of, I think this is from, what is this, from Polygon of Wonderland, Inner Cell, Into Loyalty, Into Horology. Inner Cell sounds like a Radiohead song. Just absolutely, sounds like it could be straight off In Rainbows. Awesome opening groove. Then we go into Loyalty, which has this awesome sort of synth Richard Wright vibe and this really slow, funky, keyboard heavy vibe. And then we go into Horology, which has this awesome sort of tiptoeing guitar energy, slinky, herky jerky type of funk psych. Songs were together on the album. They're played together here live. It's a great trio of songs. Works really well. And then one more song, the last thing, 19 minutes and 3 seconds, A Brief History of Planet Earth. We get some snippet of Self-Immolate, we get some Rattlesnake, and then we get a flute solo from Head on Pill, get a little snippet of Murder of the Universe, and then we get a whole bunch of Head on Pills for like the rest of it. One point it kind of dies out and you get some audience interaction. Maybe they're flipping tapes here, or switching shows. Then it kind of builds back up again. Really neat. Really just hypnotic at times. There's some really nice guitar solos that almost sound like Allman Brother-esque, like twin guitar lines that are doing some neat runs. At one point, it seems like maybe we're getting some production weirdness, messing with volume. Maybe as they're like, to help like gloss over the cuts between shows, maybe. And then for almost like the last third, maybe a little more than that, it's just straight crowd rock, motoric, just straight sort of pill type jam. Yeah, a great way to end the album. I think it works perfectly as the last song. I think anywhere else on this, it maybe drags it down a little, but coming last, it's how you want to end it. It's a great way to close out the listen. So yeah, absolutely love this. Oh, and A Brief History of Planet Earth, Zappa connection loosely, reminds me of Make a Jazz Noise Here and Pound for a Brown on the Bus, because Pound for a Brown on the Bus is not on Make a Jazz Noise Here, but like a good chunk of When the Yuppies Go to Hell is Pound for a Brown. Fire and Chains is a Pound for a Brown solo. A good chunk of King Kong is Pound for a Brown. So even though it's not there, it's there. A Brief History of Planet Earth, even though Head on Pill, the song, is not here, it's there. It's the jammy part, the thing you love about it. Well, I love the whole thing. It's there in that last song. So yeah, I really enjoyed this album. Here on out, I'm going to rank the live albums. This obviously is number 1 at this point because it's the first one released. But if I had my way, I'd probably take out the studio stuff and mix it so it sounded like one continuous show. Don't think I would mess with the order of the songs. I think it works pretty well. I do think the continuity of having it seem like it's one show makes for a better listen. But if you like the thrashier stuff, you like the more aggressive stuff, you got some Infest the Rat's Nest stuff on here, some Polygon of Wonderland stuff on here that's a little more psyche and weird. The Venetian 2 Hell is fantastic. Planet B is fantastic. And then you got some good jammy stuff. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, and let me know what you thought if you listen to this. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things. And yeah, if you like King Gizzard and you haven't heard the live stuff, check this out. I think it's a good starting point. I'm interested to see where they go to after this. I know they have at least one officially released one, and then I think all the live shows are just... they were released maybe like streaming or like during COVID or stuff. So I'm not sure they're like officially released stuff, but there's a number of shows out there and we're going to get into those. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.